In one word, what is music?
Creativity.
Freedom.
Understanding.
Inspiration. Freedom. Everything.
Beauty.
Art.
Music is beautiful to me.
Inspiration.
Enjoyment.
Life.
Creative.
Expressive.
Colorful.
Music is a drug.
Emotional.
Depending on the person, music can be a lot of things. Now let's look at the real definition. It is an art or science of combining vocal and/or instrumental sounds to produce beauty of form, harmony, and expression of emotion. So, how do you think music affects the brain?
Well, there's research that shows that music affects the brain in lots of different ways. Our brains are made up of these series of millions and millions of neurons, which are nerve cells that basically talk to each other. So every time you learn something new, the neurons in your brain will make a new pathway for that new information and connect that information to information you already know. And so every time you learn something new, that information gets added in and new neural pathways get formed in your brain. And our brains are always creating these new neural pathways. And for students who are involved with music programs, typically what the research shows is that they have increases in neural pathways and in gray matter that connect to things like memory, both short-term memory and long-term memory, with processing speeds, the way that they're able to process information, the way they're able to decode information, new information, the ability to focus on particular tasks for longer periods of time. And so there's a lot of research that shows that music has a really powerful impact on the brain, and those students show better performance in things like math, reading, and vocabulary, and in lots of areas across the board. So it's not just that the person who's learning music, that part of their brain that's more creative is being impacted. Their whole brain is being impacted in a way that enables them to be a better student and ultimately a more successful individual.
According to Guth, far beyond providing an opportunity to sing, dance, or play an instrument, researchers have found that musical education provides so much more. It develops self-discipline. The child who allots time for practicing each day is known to develop similar habits in conjunction with other subjects. As well, organizational skills increase and the child learns what it takes to be good at something. As a musician, how has music helped you in the world, like as a person?
Wow, that's a great question. Let's see. Well, I started playing the piano at age 5, And I think that one thing that it helped me with in terms of just understanding how to live and be a person, and etc., is the idea of just focus and discipline. And music is one of those ironies of life in that it provides such freedom, such creativity, but yet to get really good at it and to begin to explore that freedom and that creativity, you have to at first have the discipline to sit down and actually do it, and to actually understand that there are, rules within the game. And so at 5 years old, to learn to sit down and practice, to learn to sit down and work on something until you get it right. Once that happens, then now all of a sudden you have the freedom to start manipulating what it was that you got right. And so there's a definite interplay between being disciplined and focused on a goal, but then understanding that you can change and alter and be creative with that focus and with that goal once that discipline has been established. So as a child, it was great for me. And I remember from age 5 to age 10, I did pretty well. And at age 10, I kind of wanted to stop taking piano lessons. And it was my parents that just encouraged me and said, you're good enough now that it's going to start having added benefits when you get older. And then it was really that rollover from elementary school to junior high that I started to realize, wow, I'm actually good. And when you get good at something, you get positive responses from everybody else. And when you get a positive response from everybody else, it makes you want to do that more. And so I feel like just the act of learning and focusing on that endeavor helped me to be just a more positive person in general. And then the added thing is the fact that it's just pure creativity. When you sit down and write a piece of music, you can do whatever you want. And if you have the foundation template of what the chords are and the harmonies and the scales and the sharps and the flats, etc., once you have that baseline, the world is endless, And as structured or rigid as I have to be in any other aspect of my life, I can always sit down at a piano and just be completely immersed in my own world, that I create. It's pretty incredible about that. And then a final piece, I guess, would be just to take that understanding of how powerful it is to have, not only a skill but a creative outlet, and then just to impart that on younger people and other people, and just to say, you can do that. It doesn't have to be music, but you can be creative any way you want. It just takes doing it.
As a mother and your daughters being in music, how have you seen it affect them?
I have two daughters, both of whom were involved in music programs in schools. My daughter Sarah started playing violin when she was in 3rd grade, and as an adult now she still continues to play with the Bremerton Symphony here in Bremerton. My daughter Amanda started playing instruments when she was in 5th grade, I think, and she's learned to play 5 or 6 different instruments. She's also a vocalist, and she's in both band and choir here at Bremerton High School. I would say that as a mom, I saw the music program as an opportunity for them to, number one, have a creative outlet and do something that was fun and different from just open your book and answer these questions kind of work in school. But it also gave them an opportunity to express themselves and to learn new things. Both of them, their involvement in the music program seemed to go hand in hand with their involvement and engagement in school. There's been lots of studies in education that have shown that kids who are involved in programs at school, whether it's music or sports or anything like that, they're more connected to their school, so they're more likely to have good attendance and to be invested in their grades and be invested in the community of the school in general. And I definitely saw that with my daughters. They were much more involved in the school and much more invested. And music gave them opportunities to do things that they wouldn't normally have done. My daughters have traveled. My daughter Amanda played on the stage of Carnegie Hall in New York City, which was an amazing thing. They've traveled all over the country for different festivals and have had the chance to meet professional musicians and meet other student musicians. And so it's provided them with numerous opportunities and has enabled them to be really creative, well-rounded individuals.
According to the U.S. National Debt Clock, the outstanding public debt as of June 5, 2012 is just under $16 trillion. That is $50,304 per U.S. citizen. In order to get America back on its feet, budget cuts are being created. With the combination of budget cuts and the No Child Left Behind Act, many schools are resorting to cutting their music programs in order to have time to spend on core subjects. Or they just don't have the money to provide instrument for band, choir, or orchestra. In schools that are being forced to alter their school days, focusing on English or math, don't have enough to focus on other courses, such as social studies or science, which then never leaves time for the extra fine art classes. Unfortunately, because of the No Child Left Behind Act, the situation cannot be changed. Schools depend on the students' success on their standardized tests in order to stay open and receive government funding. Luckily, there are programs such as the VH1 Save the Music Foundation. According to the website, the VH1 Save the Music Foundation is a non-profit organization dedicated to restoring instrumental music education in America's public schools and raising awareness about the importance of music as part of each child's complete education. Since its inception in 1997, the VH1 Save the Music Foundation has provided $48 million in new musical instruments to 1,800 public schools in more than 100 cities around the country, impacting the lives of over 1.8 million children. Here are some other great foundations that take their time to bring advocacy to the importance of music. Oftentimes, parents are more concerned with the core subjects that are most likely to be on test and don't see music as an essential class. Therefore, the parents who do highly value the music education feel like they are up against a large countergroup. It is very important for parents to educate themselves with the steps to producing the school budget. They need to become active members in their school district and put an emphasis on music programs. The music education system needs more supporters in order to continue providing children with another form of education. While it is important for other school subjects to perform well on high-stakes tests, it is as equally important to provide a well-rounded education system. Diversity in education provides intellectual growth. It is up to parents and educators to make sure that the students receive a well-rounded education to become successful and intellectual people.
You teach me music.
If you teach me music, I'll be in a band, not a game.
I'll be better at math, reading, and my SATs.
It's a fact. When you teach us music,
Our math, reading, and problem-solving skills improve
our
dramatically.
music programs are in trouble.
The need to develop creative minds is as important today as it was when VH1 Save the Music was founded in 1997. Go to vh1savethemusic.com and help us continue to change lives.
With music education,
Our future sounds a lot